question, Michael.
All right. Okay. Well, guys, we are live coming at you with Mr. Jamie Grant joining me today. Another one of our candidates coming in and kind of talking through some thoughts on a lot of issues around here. So I am going to get started with a 4-minute timer. If you want to skip on ahead after that timer's gone, then that's when we'll really kind of jump in and start talking about the issues. Until then, I'm going to ask you to like and share and do all that kind of good stuff that we need you to do on the internet. So there's our timer. Jamie, how you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having us on today, Michael.
All right. Well, again, as we always do, somebody let me know that the volume and all that kind of good stuff is good. I don't want to have the conversation of the entire political campaign. We figure out all the problems in the world and nobody gets to hear it.
Right, man. We're gonna solve it all right here.
Yeah, guys, I hope you're having a good Wednesday morning. Please, again, hit that like and share, tag a friend. Let's get them on. If you've got questions, you can drop them in the comments. Hopefully, if you're watching this live, you've probably seen a few of these. We're going to have the same flow and go through the same, I guess I'd say, caveat, the same thing I've said with all of these. From
rinse and repeat. Huh?
Yeah. Well, so I don't want anybody to feel, we've got some specific issues that we're really focused on. As we were, as this whole AE thing was kind of born out of the rendering plant, which is all about industrial development, business growth. We looked at, okay, we've got this election year is pretty big. There's a lot of issues that we could talk about in Etowah County. And where we've kind of really settled in is, we don't want to discount any other issues that are out there, but where we're really laser focused is, what are we doing to raise the quality of life in Etowah County, by, mainly how do we get better jobs in here that pay more, that our kids don't have to, leave the community, that I don't have to go get a job in Huntsville and commute an hour and a half to be able to get, a good wage, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's where we're couching all these discussions and what we've kind of put together as concepts, for these core issues. So guys, go check out, Jamie has answered, the questions on our website, got his profile up there, links to all of his social and website and all that kind of good stuff. So trying to make it easy on you.
If you haven't stalked me by now, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You need to be stalking the Facebook page.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely
find us.
Go find everybody.
Call and ask me a question. I mean, if you haven't asked me a question by now, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So be looking for us, stalking us, finding us, and figuring it out.
I guess First Friday coming up, and you were out there this couple weeks ago.
First Friday, yeah,
yep.
We were there,
good turnout.
I'll tell you, it was a fantastic turnout. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, the weather was
nice.
Yeah.
It turned cool when the sun went down. But it was a good time.
Yep. So come track these guys down. I know the streets will be, I guess I'll say, littered with politicians.
With all their crap. I mean, I would take all of our stuff and then go start a bonfire with it.
Well,
take our signs and use it for target practice at the end.
Says the Army guy.
What else is
says
it
the Army
for?
guy. All right.
Laser it. I mean, get your EOTechs and get them sighted in.
Man, that would be that'd make a great internet show. I
got my 29 on there. So if you use the A or the Alabama to get it zoned in, then use that 29 to get it focused.
Well,
with final countdown, we're at zeros.
Yes, we are.
So we should be ready to go.
We are ready to go. I think I'm getting a good sound check from everybody. I appreciate you guys watching. again, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. And we'll see if we can kind of work them in. But
hopefully we have more than my mom on. I think my mom said she was going to log in. So
okay,
we have more.
Well,
than her.
we got about 13 folks right now. So hey, somebody tag his mom. Make sure she's on. What?
Shouldn't say tag.
Yeah. This is a family show. We're not. Yeah. So moving on. Let's get started. We're already a train wreck.
I got you flustered already.
We're already I'm getting there. So all right.
You're Navy guy.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We this could get interesting. So
we're gonna have fun.
So welcome, Mr. Jamie Grant, running for Alabama House of Representatives, currently a county commissioner. First, as I've said with all you guys, and I will say to every single one, thank you for your willingness to subject yourself to the scrutiny that comes with politics, the service that comes with politics, and an extra ounce of thank you for being willing to go to Montgomery and deal with what I'm sure is nothing but unicorns and lollipops.
And cotton candy.
Yes. So welcome. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for being willing to come in and sit down and engage and talk with us about some of this stuff.
Well, officer, thanks for having me. So it's a great place you got here. Looks good.
Right.
Great show you've got going, and I thank you for what you're doing for our community and bringing awareness.
Well, thank you
to Etowah County and to the people.
That's that's all we can do, and I think that's a good segue to what I've said time and time again, guys. The leadership of this community starts with us as voters, as citizens. We owe it to ourselves as a community to try and get smart. We can joke about going and finding these guys, but really, go find these guys, talk to them. They're making themselves available. They're doing pancake breakfasts and all that kind of fun stuff. First Friday, and I don't know any of you guys that I've met that aren't willing to sit down and talk to some people. So
yeah, I think we're all available, and a lot of people want to lead and get out front. As long as it's for the right reason,
right.
And we want to lead the right people, and we want to get out front and be there, and I think you'll find that most are in it for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us come from a leadership background,
mm-hmm.
and want to do it because that's just what we do.
Gotcha.
And it's just where we came from.
We're going to dive into the leadership aspect here in just a second. Let's start with for those of you that don't really know you, let's give everybody a little bit of context, the quick minute and a half version of who is Jamie Grant. Outside of the politics, where'd you grow up, what you've been doing with your career, who are you?
90 seconds, huh?
90 seconds.
Well, I went to West End High School, graduated in 93, went to Gadsden State. I guess my claim to fame is I graduated college in 3 years. It was junior college. I don't tell my parents that. I joined the military in 96. I joined it was a National Guard in 96. I got married in 97, been married almost 25 years.
Nice.
I got on counter drug orders in 99. So I was in the Guard, but I was active duty Guard for the counter drug program. I retired in 2018 after 20 years active duty, 22 years total time in service. I did 3 deployments, 2 to Afghanistan, 1 to Africa. I retired as an EA Master Sergeant. I spent 17, 18 years with the 20th Special Forces Group as an intel analyst, a signals analyst. And then I retired in 18. In 18, I bought a small business, a grocery store. In 2017, Little Burton's, out on the west side of the county. Open early, serve you open late for your convenience. Hometown market, a little plug there.
Yeah, hey.
And then
Shop local.
In 2020, I ran for county commissioner. It was Mr. Payne. He had decided not to run again, so I ran for his open seat and became a county commissioner. And then now I just think that it's time that we move and continue in another direction, and that state direction to get a strong leader down in Montgomery. Just serving is what I do. That's all I know. When I was 18, I started working undercover. I started working out in narcotics office. So it's just new. I knew this was what I was led to do and what I want to do. So I worked narcotics here in Etowah County for the last 10 years through the county drug program. I was with Cherokee County, Calhoun County, Blount County, and I started with the U.S. Customs down in Birmingham for a couple of years.
Well, I imagine you got some pretty interesting stories from doing all that. That's a whole other show, though.
Yeah, I've been shot at, chased guys through the woods, all over the world. So I've got some stories for you.
Well, I'm sure there's folks out there, and I as well would say thank you for your service and the work you've done. And I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that most people will never know about. That they should be appreciative of, and just from what little I know of that little world, from the Navy knowledge I have, I'm sure it has not been a cakewalk for 20 years. So
it hasn't been easy. I've missed home runs my son's hit. I've missed him scoring touchdowns. I've missed Christmas. I've missed graduations. I didn't retire and decide it was time for me to serve. I retired and realized I wasn't finished serving.
Gotcha.
So it's just one of those things I want to continue doing.
All right. Well, let's jump in. As I've done, with all of these, we'll touch on the rendering plant for just a little bit, but certainly don't want to turn this into an hour-long conversation about it. But just to kind of get everything couched in one video. And again, guys, you can go look at the answers that are out there. And I know you've certainly been documented on multiple locations and multiple places, especially, sitting on the county commission on your thoughts on the rendering plant. But real quick, kind of what's your take on the rendering plant and kind of how were you involved? And if you can step us through that. And again, I don't want to turn that into a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah, well, and we don't need to because everybody knows rendering plant's finished. It's not coming here. And as in a leadership position, you wanted with the county commission, we wanted Gadsden because it was their deal. We wanted Gadsden to handle it inside in house, and we didn't want any outside entity to step in and tell them what they should and shouldn't be doing inside their city. So we hoped that it would get resolved without us interfering or without us putting any pressure on them. We hoped that they would listen to their people. We hoped that they would do the things that should be done. Obviously, with it dragging out, unfortunately, we felt like we had to step in and do something to push them a little bit, and that's what we did. Nothing that we don't think that nefarious or whatever, but just to allow the GAA to make a decision and to push them, and that's when we came in and joined with Rainbow City on that lawsuit just to allow their Port Authority to take a vote. To vote it down, which they did, and move in another direction and go ahead and kill this thing.
Well, and it is definitely, I think everybody, and we've said, breathe a sigh of relief that it's unlikely. It would be really hard to imagine how it could rear its head again. But I know we've talked about it. It is the symptom of the problem, and we feel like a lot of the what created that environment, what caused all of these I guess I'd say shenanigans for the last year.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's the process, the issues, and a lot of this ultimately isn't going to end until we have an election, change out some key leadership,
and we always
engage.
talk.
And I'm not asking you to throw anybody under the bus.
I mean, but the people of Gadsden elect their councilman, elect their mayor. So let the people of Gadsden elect their people, and then we hope that once everyone's elected and put back in place. We want to continue to build a relationship with Gadsden, and have a great relationship with Gadsden, and have a great relationship with all of our city partners, and we hope that once that happens, and we continue to build a bridge and mend that, because apparently in history, of course, I wasn't a commissioner 15 years ago, 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, but history says that they haven't had a great relationship, but we're changing that. Mm-hmm. And we want to have a great relationship where we can work together, because we're never going to grow if we don't have a common ground and we don't work in the same direction. Right. You can't have 6 horses pulling one way and 1 horse pulling the other. It's just not going to work.
Absolutely.
And so, I don't know if you want to move into the IDA thing, but
let's well, I mean, we can jump into so that's kind of moving into that government infrastructure, and just to say again, as we lay out some of these, what we feel are some. I mean, we're not. I mean, it ain't rocket science. A lot of the issues that we see and have developed and thought about through this last year, and have had conversations with a lot of people in the community. A lot of it's basic stuff. I mean, it ain't rocket science to know that if you've got, 11, 13 municipalities, and 12 of them are doing one thing and one's doing another, or half and half. Sure. And so the very what we're asking is the very nature of the way our government is organized. Number one, is it properly set up to even enable us to have success? And a lot of that obviously can't change if it needs to change overnight. And obviously there's the personality side of things. So there's a lot of different aspects. So when we talk about the government infrastructure, we're also talking about the boards that are out there, and I use the airport authority as a prime example. I don't know how we got to a point where everybody was okay with the fact that you've got an airport authority board that doesn't have any requirement that there be anyone with aviation experience. Not that everyone should be aviators, and I'm wholeheartedly, I believe that. But the very nature of a board that runs an airport and you have no requirement to have any sort of aviation qualification. That's an example of what we're talking about with a lot of this government infrastructure, and the way it all works together and gels. So keep going with what you were talking about, on how do we move forward? How do we get all the horses pulling in the right direction?
Well, because you got to have one common goal, right? If everybody doesn't have the same common goal, which is to grow the entire county and not just, everybody has to, whoever's the mayor of Gadsden obviously has got to worry about Gadsden, but they have to worry about the county in general.
Right.
And Mayor Taylor in Rainbow City, he worries about the Rainbow City, but he knows that if Gadsden grows, his city will grow. And same way with Sardis, or same way with any city. If a business comes to Sardis, somebody in Rainbow City is going to work in Sardis. And if an industry comes to Gadsden, then somebody in Sardis is going to work in that business in Gadsden. So we have got to get leaders who said, I don't care where an industry goes, because I know a second and third order effect is going to affect somebody in my community, right? And so we need one, if you call it IDA, I don't care what you call it, that says we want to grow the entire county, right? And the whole render plant could have been avoided if it came to the county to begin with and the county rejected it, right? If it wasn't brought back to the city, because it would have been under one umbrella, and they would have said, hey, it's not good for the county in whole, and we don't want it, besides a different entity coming back. And so we need one IDA that looks at everybody in the city and the county, besides having separate.
And I just because I can hear the comment. You're not suggesting that the county commission become the umbrella.
No, it would be. Okay,
I just want to make sure that nobody's hearing that the wrong way.
It would be the county, the cities have a joint. It would be an umbrella. whoever would run that. I mean,
everybody's got to buy in. And,
everybody's bought in. I mean, now Sardis may not be able to afford somebody, but they're still looking out because Sardis is just as much. Glencoe's just as much. It'd be like, hey, here's an industry. Does it fit in Glencoe? Does it fit in Rainbow City? Does it fit out in the county? Does it fit in Sardis? Because it may be a marshmallow company that's just big enough to fit out in Glencoe. It may be a huge industry that fits at the mega site, and let it just come to one, and let that person look at the entire county, not just, hey, here's something that doesn't fit gas, and send it over to the Rainbow City IDA. And then that way we don't have it speeds the process up. And if it's not good for the entire county, it's not good for the entire county, and it doesn't get shuffled back and forth to Montgomery back up.
All right.
But that's a relationship that has to get.
You got me wondering what a marshmallow factory smells like. You know, but yeah. Where
or it might be a Fruity Pebbles. I don't know. It could be pick anything.
Well, so yeah, I just want to make sure that nobody's misunderstanding what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying the county has control. I'm just saying that it has to be. But besides having two separate entities running the county, it needs to be one under one, and we put our resources together.
So what are your thoughts as as you're running for House to obviously represent even more people in the community and represent us at the state level? What's your understanding or thoughts on what you can do, from Montgomery that can play into a lot of that?
I'm just going to help facilitate that. I can walk into any mayor's office at this point and have a conversation with him. He may tell me to go get Ben afterwards. He may say, you're not going to, but I'm not afraid to go. Hey, Mayor, I want to talk to you about this. Because I have a pretty good relationship with all of them. Okay. He doesn't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with him. But that's the beauty of being adults, of having that conversation. Because like I told you before, you don't have to agree with Jamie Grant, and I don't have to agree with you. But at the end of the day, we're adults. So you can be, hey, I don't like that idea, and I will take your idea just because it's my idea. Believe me, I don't think it's the greatest one. And just because it's your idea, I don't think it's the worst one. I like your idea sometimes. I'm growing up to go, hey, look, you know what? You got a pretty good idea. And just because it's not mine doesn't mean it's not good.
That's good. I do think I've got some good ideas. No, I'm just kidding.
And you may have some good ones.
Well, and that's, the biggest thing that we're trying to do is facilitate the conversation to just get the community talking and thinking about all the ideas. Yeah. And, I think part of, why I'm sitting here today was I was not a guy that was paying enough attention, getting smart enough on what ideas were being vetted out there. I think a lot of us got caught off guard with kind of this discussion that there's a prevailing idea that we should become the chicken capital of Alabama, and not to, obviously the poultry industry is, that's part of our community.
It is. It's a big part of our community.
And that's absolutely. But when it's couched and
you like
when it's couched under the we're gonna forsake all others, which is and I don't want to get into all that and throw in. But that really all I say all of that to encourage voters, and we have got to pay attention. We've got to put in a little more effort and help talk with guys like you, understand, and then provide the feedback, and kind of voice our opinion and learn how to have some good, healthy conversation about different ideas.
Yeah, just don't get your feelings hurt all the time.
Yeah,
not you, just in general.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm a Navy guy. Army guy's not gonna hurt my feelings. All right. So speaking of the Army, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. We're speaking of the Army, I think that's a good segue. Leadership is something that we got to have, and certainly not singling anybody out, but there's certainly some that I would put in the category of they're elected officials, they're not leaders. And through all of what we're going through as a community, all I really want to see is leadership. I want to see people that I can step behind and follow, and feel like they're stepping out and they're leading. They're not necessarily playing politics. So what would you say is what qualifies you to put yourself to say I'm a leader, I want to be a leader, this is why why I want to be part of the leadership of our county?
I think my record going from E4 to E8 to military, has proven that I've taken soldiers overseas into combat. I brought them home. I've met the qualification. I own a business. So I think history has shown. The community. I've led. I don't think any true leader likes to say what they've done just because I think they just do it.
Right.
It's just if duty calls, you just go do these things.
Yep.
And I think that you can just look at history, look at things where we've gone and what we've done. If you're overseas and you're talking with somebody in another country and you're in their village and you're trying to convince them to, hey man, I'm here for the right reason. And we're in your village, in your town, making it better. And so you're trying to convince them that this is what happened. And you do, you're making rapport, and you've been entrusted with other soldiers to go to complete a mission, and you've done those things. So I think that's what makes me strong enough to be one. Just the battle tested that I've done. When you go and you do things and you've just been successful. When you it's just hard to answer those things.
Fair enough.
When it's just, hey man, I need you to go finish this. It's hard when
that is a I think that's a valid answer. That's a fair enough answer, and I think I think that's ultimately that's what this is all about. Is hopefully people are watching and listening, and for them to judge for themselves. Is that the right answer? Is that the answer I was looking for? But no, I totally
buy in, sell yards. I guess.
I would definitely. Yeah. So let's talk about infrastructure. And I know particularly from the county commission side of things, infrastructure, roads has been a pretty big deal. You got some little like industrial development. I think it's called a mega site or something that y'all are working on. So
what's that?
So infrastructure. Let's talk about that for a second and where we are as a county, where we need to go. You can go as deep or as shallow as you want in all of that. And how does it translate as you move out of, as you want to move out of the county commission side of things and move to the state level?
Well, the only way to grow infrastructure, the only way to make things better is you got to have more revenue, right? Mm-hmm. And the way to get more revenue is how? Well, to bring in jobs, right? Is to create more revenue, and that's what we're doing at the mega site, right? We are investing in ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So that the state, so that the nation sees that Etowah County believes in us. Okay. We believe in ourselves. It's just like whenever you invest in yourself, whenever you start a business. I believe in Etowah County. I believe in what we're doing is right. I believe we have the personnel and the know-how to do it. Okay. And that's what the county commission is doing. And we are investing millions into ourselves. The railroad, everybody's investing millions into our project because we believe the mega site is the next big thing. Okay. And so once we bring industry there, a huge industry there, that's going to bring dollars into us. Right. And once that happens, then our budget will increase from 20 million to 25 to 30 million. And when that happens, what can we do? Then we can invest that money back into our infrastructure, and then we can see return. Okay. Besides just continually trying to put money out, right, into money that just goes away, we have to invest into ourselves, and then you'll see the infrastructure grow.
Well, so I think that kind of leads into, and we've touched on some of this with the IDA concept and countywide stuff. investing in infrastructure, investing in anything implies that there's a plan in place, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about a return on investment down the road. So let's talk about a master plan concept and what your thoughts are on what that might look like. Because clearly you're not going to sit there and go, no, we don't need any plan.
So obviously the county, as far as the master plan, our master plan is to grow the county, whether it's the city of Gadsden growing or Rainbow City growing or Southside or Sardis growing. The county as a whole, whether it has to grow, and we have to work with every city, right, in order for it to grow, because the county doesn't care. Mm-hmm. When I say doesn't care, it all grows for us. We want Host Bluff to grow,
right?
We want Grove Altoona to grow. We want everyone to grow. That's why when I say the IDA, we want one
right
IDA, so that when something comes up here, it might be a business that fits in Altoona. And so if Altoona starts to grow, what happens? The county grows. If Host Bluff starts to grow, the county grows. And we want the entire county. And if something grows for the city of Gadsden, then the city of Gadsden, the county grows. So we can't say, well, we don't want that for the city of Gadsden because it won't help Etowah County. But that's bull crap.
So what are your thoughts on, how do we get after actually making, or is it possible that we can create an actual master plan for the county as a whole? And I don't mean the county commission master plan, but all the municipalities buying in.
So I think that's so. Rainbow City will have its own, obviously, because of parks, whatever.
Right.
The Gadsden City will have its own for parks, whatever. So the county really doesn't have, because we don't have home rule. We don't have one. So our master plan will be, I believe, having a facilitated IDA that all works together. So when a business when Montgomery or whoever sends a business up here, right, a rep from Rainbow City, Tyler, whoever looks at it, and we don't say, hey, this isn't right for Gadsden, send it down, or hey, this isn't right for Etowah County, send it down. They look at every parcel in the county, whether it's, no matter whose city it's in, and say, hey, would you be interested in this Southside? And the Southside says, you know what, I don't believe that fits us. Glencoe, does this fit in your industrial park? If Glencoe says, hey, I think it does, then we try to put it in Glencoe if the county and Glencoe thinks that it fits for them.
Okay.
And that way we're not sending it back down and then them having to call Glencoe. Or Glencoe going, hey, you know what? That would have been great in our location. Why didn't we know about it? And somebody go, we didn't think about you over there. And so we have to think about every city in the county. Mm-hmm. We have to think about every parcel of land in the county. Mm-hmm. Besides going, you know what? We just didn't think about you over there. I didn't get where you're a guy, or they didn't ask about you in Glencoe. Well, of course they didn't ask about Glencoe because they didn't ask about Sardis or Ridgeville or whoever, or Reese City. Because we got to have somebody who thinks about every city in the county, somebody who thinks about everybody in the county, not just their city.
Right. All right. Well,
that's the master plan.
That's the master plan. Well, and I think, whether it's a no kidding master plan like what Rainbow City and Southside are doing, or the 1977 master plan from the city.
Gadsden City, I believe when they get a new mayor, I believe they will develop one. And then once the new mayor and city council comes up with one, and they'll see how it fits. I won't say they'll make it fit with Rainbow City. They'll make it fit with whoever.
Right.
But that's how Madison has grown up there, and Huntsville's grown up there, because their cities and their county work together.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do. I can assure you, our city and county is going to work together.
Well,
our legislators are going to work together.
And I would simply say they must, or
we're going to die.
Yeah. That's so. I think we're in violent agreement.
We're not going to die.
No. I wouldn't put my time and energy into this if I wasn't encouraged and hopeful. And we certainly have already seen some leadership and discussion from business owners, and you know, I have been frustrated as a transplant into the area, you know, kind of this mindset of, oh, Etowah County's always been this way and it's never going to change. And, you know, I guess I'd say to people that think that way, if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, if that's the way you think about it, then you're right. It's never going to get better. It's never going to, and I don't think that's the prevalent. I don't think that's the prevalent attitude.
They had just gotten settled in thinking that Goodyear Steel Plant was going to be here forever. Now they realized that it's not. And we had some good commissioners however many years ago that saw vision in the mega site. And when I first come on, I was like, I ain't so sure. And now I mean, we just have to, I see vision in it. And it is going to.
Well, and at this point, I'd say we're far enough down the road. Like we got to make it work.
That way, exactly. You know, and now you're balled in. I mean, you can either finish the house or you can tear it down. It's time to finish the house.
Yep. All right. Well, so let's jump over to a little change of gears. And I know that this, discussion about first responders, is something that kind of, it kind of came up amidst all of everyone paying a lot more attention last year to some of the issues that we've got. And I know that's going to be, something that's near and dear to our hearts and your heart. The kind of the cliche that military and first responders should get paid more, but I think around here that's clearly an issue. And I know there's limitations with what you can do at the state level and the office that you want to go, that you're running for. But what are your thoughts on kind of where we stand, the importance of, I guess I'd say a solid first responder base to a community, to business development,
well, first of all, I mean, I believe everybody knows where I'm at with them. I mean, I've kicked doors, I've chased people. I mean, I don't know that anybody loves them or will support them any more than I will.
Right,
100%.
I kind of took that as a given. So.
I also will tell you that I don't know any of them who said I am going to be a cop or a firefighter because of how much money I'm going to make.
Right.
So I think that it begins with leadership, right? And I think when whoever was here, it was on maybe another show. So I believe that if our leadership was strong, we would get great people, right?
Okay.
And we have great people,
right?
So we have to continue with our leadership, right? And make them protect our guys and stand up for our guys.
Right.
Now, obviously, we got to pay them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's all about the pay. I mean,
and that's why I've said, like, it's kind of, you've heard it forever as kind of the cliche, but
nobody does it for the money.
Yeah.
They all do it for the heart.
Yeah.
They're all heart.
Yeah.
If
you want to get rich,
but I would think that if somebody says, hey, I'll do it for $20 an hour for a great leader or $30 an hour for a terrible leader, they'll do it for $20 for somebody who'll stand up for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to make sure we have a mayor who's going to stand behind them. We got to make sure we have council members who will stand behind them. Got to make sure we have legislators who's going to stand behind them, and then we'll get the money to them.
Right.
But they could care less if they don't have a chief who's going to stand behind them.
Right.
If they don't have their guys who's going to stand up for them and not protect them, not get them equipment, not give them what they need.
Right.
Forget about the money.
Right.
You better have somebody who's going to kick a door, who's going to stand for them.
Well, I would certainly concur. I know we've seen, in today's military retention issues and they've thrown a lot of money for trying to keep people in and still having retention issues and a lot of argument of well, is it the atmosphere, so yeah, I mean there's a lot of, obviously it's a very complex conversation.
I mean, I don't know how many legislators have chased bad guys, been shot at, jumped out of a plane. I don't know how many of them have. I mean, so if you want somebody who's done it and who understand it.
Well, and I think, I also, I've not thought a whole lot through history of what's the impact of that first responder base. I mean, there's a lot of telling. outside businesses that want to come into an area on what's the status of how well you're taken care of, how important, and the airport was, as I understand it, they're regularly having to shut down the firehouse out at the airport. And, as we talking through the rendering plant thing, well, is that a vulnerability to the businesses out there? If you can't, if you're dealing with things that, when I pick up the phone and, the worst happens, I want to know that there's somebody that's going to show up and things are,
and that's the great thing about, Gadsden City, they've always, our police officers and our firefighters are always,
they're doing more with less.
They're doing more with less, and it's terrible. But you see them on the roads. You see them doing their job, and they're always professional. We have some of the best cops. I know all. I know them all. In the first Friday, you see them out here. 2:00 in the morning, you see them out here. They're always doing their job.
Yep.
And we have to let them be proactive and do their job to keep us safe.
All right. Well, so let's move on to the other one that's kind of an oddity in the discussion, or really, maybe that's really not a good way to phrase it. The education aspect that we've got here, it was not necessarily something that was a huge thing that came up in the middle of the rendering plant discussions, other than everybody's kind of paying attention, and all of a sudden we go, oh, we talk about economic development. What are your thoughts as you want to head to Montgomery, and what can be done, the role of education for business recruiting, workforce development, all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts from that side of things?
We have to teach, and look, and my son graduated last year from Sardis. We have to change the mindset. America was not built on college debt. America was built with blood, sweat, and tears, right? With people who knew how to work. And we have got to go back and get the stigma out of, if my kid doesn't go to college, we are failures as parents. And we've got to let people know that it's okay for our kids to go to work for a living.
Yep.
Not that college kids don't work for a living, but it's okay if my kid doesn't go to college, if he just goes straight into the workforce.
Right.
And so we've got to prepare them for the workforce, because most kids go to work for a living, graduate high school, and go to work.
Yep.
And don't go to college for 4 years and do whatever they do in college for 4 years and then get a degree, or 6 years.
Or they go to college for 4 years, get a bunch of debt, and then join the workforce, and nothing related to their college degree.
Or go to college for 3 years in junior college like I did, and then join the military. But we have to find that passion that they have at 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, and then put them at a career tech, and then drive them, because I know Mark Sansel over the Career Tech Center, they have a great program. And I know Gadsden State with advanced manufacturing, that is a great program they have over there. And we have got to get them and let them know, hey man, find your passion, right? Okay. Find your passion, and let's guide you into that. And so that when you do finish high school, when you do finish your 2-year degree, man, you are ready. And it's okay that you didn't spend 3 years in college hanging out. We know you want to, but it's okay that you didn't. And get ready, because you can make bank. You can make bank out of high school.
Yep.
If you're willing to go to work.
Right.
And get ready. And we've got to get teachers and get the high school kids, get them ready. We've got to prepare them. So I'm a big career tech guy. I'm a big advanced manufacturing guy, because if we can train our workforce here,
right,
and we can let the Montgomery, the main state, know, we can let our nation know that Etowah County has a workforce that's ready.
All right. Well,
and I like to make Gadsden State. I would like to, at the end of the day, make Gadsden State like a work for an advanced manufacturing MIT. Like, hey man, this is where you go to Gadsden State for this particular. And it would take 5 or 10 years for this particular advanced manufacturing. Like that, they are known for this, whatever it may be. You know,
yeah.
I've talked to Alan Smith over there quite a bit. He and I's worked hard together.
Makes me think. I just watched the Tesla's Giga site in Texas that they just opened up, and Elon Musk and 50,000 employees. It's one of the largest manufacturing facilities, and you can only imagine in all the discussion that we've had, over the last year and the conversation we're having now, like to be able to support that kind of stuff.
And when you start teaching a lot of computer coding in school, I mean, go ahead and teach early. I mean, if you just got one teacher in each school that could teach computer coding, I mean, just basic codes, right? Just very simple code in school, right? Nothing crazy, just the intricacies, right? C+ or something very, just start putting in their brain a little bit, and you'd be amazed. I mean, we have a great robotics in our schools. We got 4 or 5 schools going out to Dallas, Texas for robotics worlds, so we got some schools going out there, so our robotics is huge in our elementary schools. So just keep feeding on that. So we got some really smart kids in Etowah County.
We do. All right. Well, so let's take all this and wrap it up, and talk about the business environment that we've got. I see there was a question about small business getting in there from Danny Starnes. So hopefully, Danny, this kind of addresses that. So now you are a small business owner in the community. We've heard, I guess I would say I've heard a lot of stories of people, particularly in the Gadsden area, that have had challenges of it not being the warmest business environment area. How do we, and again, this is from the House level, the state level perspectives on what you can do, what can be done to make this the most business friendly environment that we can have to grow what's already here, encourage new people to start, and then obviously attract in more business.
Well, obviously, regulations. We want to just make as few regulations as possible, make it as easy for businesses open as possible. Work with the mayor and the council and say, hey, listen, let's do whatever we can. If it's a small local business, let's help them, because that's what's the backbone of here of Gadsden. That's who's going to stay here the longest.
Right.
That's who we want. And obviously, any big business that comes in, we want to do what we can to attract them here and go out and recruit them, and say, man, this is conducive for you, and make it environmental friendly. As far as this is what we have, we have the falls and everything that's here, our schools, and we talk about schools and education, but money drives it, right? Money drives our education system. Money drives our schools. Money's going to drive everything, like it or don't like it. Money is root of all evil. Money drives it. Right? If we can increase revenue in our county and revenue in our cities, then it's going to increase teacher pay. It's going to increase the looks of our schools. But we have to spend it in the right way. Right? We have to get it. And we have to be smart with it. And we have to put it in the right direction. So we got to increase jobs to come in and big businesses to come in so that we can have more revenue to spend.
I think along the same lines, obviously you talk to a lot of citizens and ask, what business do we need here? And everybody says Olive Garden, and they start listing all these restaurants, and that, those follow the money. Those businesses, those type of things.
We got to have industries. We got to have million and $1 billion industry to come in, which then is going to create more traffic, more cars.
And I've heard, some people kind of like, well, I don't want to become Birmingham, and I think we're a long way from that being in
Birmingham. You'll be long dead before that happens.
Yeah. So, and I will say this, I think it's okay as a community to have the conversation. If we've got folks, if we do have citizens that want to say, I kind of like it the way it is, I don't want that. I think if that's your opinion, I mean, that's the beauty of democracy, and that's your opinion. And that's part of that whole development of a master plan is kind of getting on board with, well, what's kind of the majority of where we want to go. And then, we'll let it go from there. If that's really the case, then maybe you need to look at some property out in a little more rural area if we do develop.
But I think that's why Megasign's further down off the interstate, so that traffic can ease traffic coming in and out, and I think if we develop it the right way, and I think I heard you talk about the 759 corridor, that is going to get done. There's a plan for it. It's years down the road, but it will get finished.
Yeah.
And so that's going to ease up traffic. And so there's plans in motion.
Right.
Dr. Cooper or Mr. Cooper. I mean, those things are getting done. It's just not the internet.
Yeah. Well, and that's
TikTok, it takes time.
And that's all of this stuff will continue. Anything that anyone feels like needs to change around here, it's not going to change overnight. It is something that's going to take time, and a lot of the conversations that we're having right now, that we've had over the last year, we're talking 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 plus year discussions.
20 discussions, but
yeah. Well, I mean, how do we educate our kids and prepare them for being part of the future? If they're starting first grade right now, true. So
before you know it.
But all right, well, let me clean up. I saw one question that hopefully it's fair game. I think since you're headed down to Montgomery, do you feel a lottery bill can ever pass? What are your thoughts on the lottery?
I was talking to somebody. I don't know. I think there's too much. I don't think it ever will. And I don't care. I think it needs to get to a vote. But I think there's too much in Montgomery with comprehensive gaming, with the lottery, paper lottery. And I don't think that either Senate or House, I don't think they'll ever get one to it. I just think there's too many people at play. It'll just never get to a vote.
All right.
That's just my personal opinion.
Well,
not that I'm for it or against it. I just don't think it'll ever get there.
All right.
There's too many powers that be that because of gambling issues, it'll just never get there.
Okay. Well, I hope that gives you some answer to your question there, Carol. And I appreciate you asking that. And with that, I don't think there's much else left. I don't see any other few good comments in there. Hal Murphy said we do coding in most of our elementary schools in Etowah County.
Okay, good.
And yeah, that's obviously the internet is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart because I earn a living using the internet.
Yeah, I'm glad that's done. I was talking to a guy, and he was hoping that was done. Obviously, I don't teach in school, but I'm glad that that's done. I mean, because kids are smart, and that's just very very basic to get them there. So thank you for commenting.
All right. Well, Jamie, again, thank you so much for coming in. I know, you guys are strapped for time. I do want to reiterate to everybody, May 24th is going to be the primaries. All you guys that are running the primaries, whoever survives, that's the vote.
Yes, that's going to end. We don't have it will end that day.
Yeah. So please,
about 9 o'clock Monday that night, Tuesday night.
Please get out there and plan on headed to the polls on May 24th, and cast your vote. If you miss out on the primaries, then you'll be missing out on the opportunity to exercise that right.
And you can't complain.
Yes.
If you don't go vote May 24th, you cannot complain about who you're.
Well, you can. We just may yell at you and say, "Well, where were you?" So. So where can folks go find more info about you? You can
go Facebook, Jamie Grant, Grant29.com, AO Grant29. You can Facebook me, Instagram. I have a website, Grant29.
Well, and yeah, don't forget all that's linked up on the candidate profile page. If you go to advancedetowah.com, go to election 22. You can find all of your bright shining mugs
and they're very
and
information and
information.
annoying. I know as I'm done with it.
Yeah,
I'm ready to pull them down. I can assure you.
Well, so guys, hope you're having a good, well, now a Wednesday afternoon, and hope we see you out. I think Mr. Craig Lipscomb is going to be on with me Friday, and we've got a few more, and then we're talking about some roundtable discussions before the primaries. Rainbow City has been nice enough to offer up using their facility to sit down and have some group discussions about some of this stuff. So, Jamie, again, I appreciate you coming in and chatting with me. Again, thanks for subjecting yourself to politics. Appreciate your life of service, and good luck to you. And guys, go track them down, learn more about them, and reach out and ask them questions. So, all right, y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and we will catch you on